Hey, Thomas Moore, how are you doing? Hey, Dwight. Good to see you all in here. Just a second, I'll come and read the chat a little more. I'm going to do this while it's still wet. All right. All right, let's see. Hey, Dave, BNSF, Fred E. How's it going? James, how are you doing? You're up late. So I am actually putting down the ground. This is going to be basically supposed to be like cement and dirt kind of mixed. It's my refinery area. And just looking at pictures from Google Earth, it's paved, yet there's a lot of dirt on it. So what I'm attempting to do is I'm actually using grout. So I'm mixing some couple different colors of grout, and I'm spreading it. And now I'm just kind of wetting it down again. I might come back and use some glue on top of it, but right now I'm just spraying it with water and see see what that does. See if that takes, that might just be all I need to do. But if not, I'll come back with glue on top of it. So I got my track ballasted the other night. So now I wanted to get this done. And I want to get all this kind of done before I put my oil platforms in place. Because I don't want to be reaching behind them, and because I'll break them, I know me. But I kind of like the way the grout's coming out. It's smooth, but it's got a texture to it. And I'm using this. This is normally used for sifting and baking, but it's a very fine mesh screen. I don't know how well you can see the screen. I think it's called number 60 mesh. So it really, when I sift out the grout, it makes it nice and fine, and I don't get all the little lumps in it like this. Yeah, I think Thomas, I think Wilmer said he was kind of getting sick, so I'm sure he probably went to bed early. Yeah, Fred, because I know if I put any of those wool racks here, then I'm going to be reaching over them all the time, and I just know I'm going to make a mess doing that. So. Hey, Northern Ohio, Nora, how are you doing? Good to see you in here. So to cover my track, I've got some old handkerchiefs here and an old pillowcase. So I've just been trying to cover everything that way. I'll just put it up to the edge of my ballast. And then I wet down as far as my covers are. Once I spread it, I go back over it with and mist it again. And I'm going to have to go back over and fix some spots. It's no big deal. But it seems to be coming out fairly smooth, which is what I like. Just getting it up against the backdrop is all the way to the edge is the hard part. Oh, got to put some more water in. Oh, that'll be nice, Thomas. Using sandstone. Santa Fe, huh? Not bad. Not bad, as Wilmer says. And this is wet water I'm using, by the way. So I don't know if I need to with this, but sure ain't gonna hurt. I like this little mister. I got this at Hobby Lobby, but you can get them anywhere. I think Micro Mart sells them. Michaels. Got a big something jumped out of my sifter there. I shouldn't have overfilled it. I think I got too much in my sifter. I probably need to go right back along the edge just a little bit. Make sure I got everything. Like I said, if I miss any spots, I can come back. But this is coming out even better than I expected. So I'm quite pleased with the way it's coming out. If you can hear me, I have to speak up, I imagine, when I'm way down here. But I was saying I like the way it's coming out. Oops. I'll be careful not to put my thumb in it. Yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out a lot better than I expected, actually. So, hey, there's Randall. How you doing? Now I can here. And maybe got too much junk now. I've been working on this area. Now I have too much junk on my layout. So see what I can do here. I'm not going to go all the way to my main line. I have a road here, so I don't need to do it because I'm actually going to. I've got a road that's going to go here, but I'm going to put down some plaster there to for the road. Oh, that wasn't good. Yeah, that's what happens when you got too much. So let me get a little paintbrush. Knock all this out of the way. There we go. One. All right, now let me wet it down real good again. And once it dries, I won't get all of those up. Once it dries, I'll smooth that out. Now I'm giving my backdrop a little texture too. There we go. Those out of the way. I think I can one of my handkerchiefs back. Need to fix something right here. Let me see how that looks. I think that'll be better. That good and soaked in. Come along here. There. All right. Randall is waiting on a crew. Thomas, I hadn't planned on it because I gave Wilmer the decals. I mean, I kept a few, but I gave him most of them. So he might be doing some more. And I don't have to talk as loud. I was still talking loudly, but now I'm right up to next to the computer. So yeah, hopefully that, that took care of everything. Like I said, once this dries, if there's any clumps, I can kind of smooth those off. And I've got some seams in my foam, like right there, that I can surely want to take care of. Which reminds me, I have a couple small seams I can get right now. I'm going to get these so when I come here to landscape, they're not going to cause problems. I've got a spot there. This is where my wires are coming up from the bottom. My feeders. Make sure I cover those because things will just go down the hole if you don't. We did this one, did that one. All right. Gus, how you doing? John, did I say hi to you earlier? I probably did, but I'm getting old, man. I don't remember who I said hi to anymore. I probably did, yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to wait for this to dry and see if I need to come back with some, with some glue. But being that it's grout, the water might be the only thing that I needed to do. We'll just have to wait and see. Cherry, what are you doing up this late? No, I think Plumber was going to bed or something. Maybe, I don't know. So, like I said, now once I get all of this done, I'm going to get. I don't need to have my building set in place because that's not a big deal. But I did want to get all of the. I did want to get all of the backdrop done, and the ground, all of that put in before I did my oil loading racks. So I've got to when all this gets dry, I'm going to put in the oil loading racks, and then I'll after I get the oil loading racks set in place, then I'm going to get some number 50 ballast and put along here because right now this is just bare cork. I don't know how well you can see that. That's just basically bare cork right now. So my oil loading racks are going to go here, and then I'm going to ballast around them because I wanted to glue them down. But I think the grout is doing a good job. It's doing exactly what I want. It gives good texture and it's smooth. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to wait and see after it dries. If I need to come back with glue, the water may be just enough for it. Especially since it's wet water, it'll penetrate it. And it's such a thin layer. But if not, like I said, I can always come back with glue. But the good thing is because it has been put down with water, it'll be semi-permanent. So I can come back with, and if I spray glue on it, it's not gonna move too much. I see some spots that are just drying out real fast. So I want to make sure I keep those good and wet. And like I said, also, I've got some touch up to do. Like I had been beating up my foam here. That's where I tore up some track. And so I've got to come back in and fill some stuff anyway. So. But I think the mix of the two colors really did what I wanted it to do. Because I didn't mix them completely. I just dumped them both in the sifter, and then I let it sift out and kind of mix as it wanted to. So I didn't want a solid color. I wanted kind of a two-tone effect. So I used a gray and a brown grout. That should be good. I've soaked it really well now, so if it's going to come up, it's going to need glue. So now I will set my camera up and move here in front of the camera so you can see my face. So you know that I'm really here. So the other thing Jerry was asking about, here's the awnings that are going to go over each loading position, and I glued an LED to the underside of them. So I'm going to have each loading position is going to be lighted on the platform itself, and then I'm going to have an LED spotlight on either side that faces towards the tank car. So that's what that is. And if you can see, so that's how it'll set on each one like that, basically. So I've got them all ready, weathered, and ready to go. I don't know where my camera was. So yeah, the other night I painted my backdrop that's behind the refinery, and so I do have some more painting to do. So my refinery, it's going to be the Walther's refinery kit, but it's also going to be mostly tanks, storage tanks. So I looked at the picture of the prototype, and if I do the first little bit that I've got here, it's going to, like I said, it's going to be mostly storage tanks. So I'm going to have to paint some refinery structures on my backdrop. I've never done painted structures before on the backdrop, so I'm going to see how they're going to turn out. Yeah, the tops will go on that'll be the last thing I put on. I want to get it glued in place first. And the reason why is because I want to make sure the tops, when I put them on those awnings, that they're going to be level. So whatever I have to do to level them up as well. But like I said, anyway, I've got to paint some kind of refinery structures on my backdrop. So how will that come out? I have no idea. There's no commercial photos available that I have found yet that I like. This is a small refinery and most of it are storage tanks. So that's how I'm modeling mine. So most of what's going to be up here is storage tanks. Besides the Walthers refinery kit is going to be down at this end, and then a bunch of storage tanks just lined up. So I'll have to also paint more storage tanks on the backdrop, things like that. So yeah, it's too bad that some of this stuff just it seems to take forever. Like you're trying to get a project done, but you can't do that until you do this, till you do, you got to do 10 other steps to get this one step done. So it's sometimes it's frustrating. But if you don't do it in the right order, it's going to be even more frustrating. So yeah, and then like I said, I had to. The fun part about the backdrop is I had stopped down there. Let's see on camera. Yeah, there. That's where I had stopped, and so I had to try to blend the color in with what I had already done, and that was fun trying to get the color the same. But it did. It worked out. So just trial and error. Yeah, they don't talk much, Jerry. Maybe you need to get Digger on here. Maybe he'll whip them up. He's probably sound asleep. It's like 4 in the morning over where he is. Maybe everybody is tired. One thing I might do up here where I showed you it's kind of beat up, I might, instead of trying to fill that in and everything, I think what I'm going to do is get some grass, some static grass and some ground cover and just put it in here kind of spotty. And I think that'll cover it up because there is in the prototype right here next to where the track comes off, there is a bunch of grass there. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. So if I put some grass and ground cover there, I don't have to worry about coming back and filling things in. I've got some switch stands on order that I'm going to put in here, some Details West ones. They're going to go here, and I think they turn. I think they operate, if I'm not mistaken. And then see what else. That's it. So like I said, I've got all of this ballasted here. I'll need to ballast the siding some, and I'm going to do some. Another thing I noticed in the prototype, there's a lot of oil spill along these tracks, so I'm going to come back with a. I like the color of. There's a tester's paint called Rubber, and I think it's a good oil color, and that's what I'm going to come do. I'm going to make it into a stain, and then come back and just use a dropper and drop a bunch of that, along the tracks and let it stain. So cool, John. Yeah, there's Mike. He can't get away from us. That's right. Good, John. Keep working on that layout. But I know you get burned out sometimes, but then I get to thinking about it and I go, you know what? If I don't do it, who's going to do it? So if I don't do it, it ain't going to get done. So I might as well do it. So that's what I was. Even sometimes when I don't want to, I force myself to come out here and work on the layout. But I don't know if you can tell. See how I've got a kind of a two-tone color going there, the gray and the brown, and that's kind of what the prototype looks like. It's paved, but there's just a lot of dirt around the parking lot. So that's the kind of the effect I'm going for. Yeah, I know, John. Well, that's what I was saying on Jerry's live stream earlier. Uh, we were talking about watching that guy's video, and he was saying, how he got so many subscribers so quickly. But it's a 3.5 hour video. If you work all day at a regular job and then you want to work on your own layout, it's almost impossible to sit down and watch YouTube for 4 or 5 hours. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I cannot put on a live stream, or not necessarily a live stream, but a video, and do it any justice, because I personally have to focus on what I'm doing. If I don't focus on what I'm doing, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. And so to try to be actually listening to somebody and working on my layout, it just doesn't work for me. It's not, like I said, it just doesn't work for me. If I have to watch or listen to a video where somebody's actually talking, explaining things, I just can't. um I can't do it personally. If you can, more power to you. What are you, Gus? What email are you trying to use? And you don't have to put in the at. Don't put in the at. Just tell me the first part of it. Yeah, that's yeah. What's after my refinery, Mike? I've got to finish my scratch build that I've been doing as well. Hmm. Yeah, that's right. The thing is with the scratch build, so it's over here. You can see I got it sitting off down there. So it goes there. So to do that, once again, I have to paint the backdrop, get the backdrop painted, ballast the track here before I can put the building back on. And I've got to still light the building. I need to light it, and I've got to actually have a little background photograph that's going to go in the building as well. So there's some things that I have to do before I can get that done. So there's that's what I say. There's you've got a project, but it causes you to do 10 other projects before you can get it finished. And I tried to build just building the structures. I did that. I build my scratch build structure and I built the oil loading racks. I can kind of do that at the same time. But the the other part to lead up to getting to being able to put them in place is that I kind of have to do one separately. So it's just the joys of owning a model railroad. Yeah. But another thing I have to get done is see the backdrop goes to there, but I'm extending that backdrop another 8 feet out to the end of my peninsula, and that's another project that I've got to get done. So just one thing after another. But like I said, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's the thing is you have so much to do, and you got to figure out one project and focus on it. And so right now, I have decided to focus on getting this refinery done. That's going to be my focus right now. There's Plumber. Gus is trying to email you, Steve. See, Steven does it the smart way. He just says hi to everybody in one thing. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen here once this dries, but if it needs it, I'm going to come back with a layer of glue. But it came out smooth like I like it, so which is what I was going for. But there's touch ups, and anytime you're doing scenery, you're going to have to go back and touch up. It's never going to be perfect the first time, or not perfect, but it's not going to be the way you want it the first time. There's always touch ups to go back and do. So, Mike, I'm using a combination. This is most of the ballast that I'm using is the Woodland Scenic stuff, the fine, and I only use fine for HO scale. Anything else is too big, scale wise. But I'm mixing in some Scenic Express number 50 gray ballast. So the number 50 ends up being about an inch in diameter rocks. So small, small ballast. The Woodland Scenic's fine is equivalent to 3B ballast, which is 3 inches. So, which is about the size of a, ballast rock's about that big. So. See you, Dwight. Derek. Derek's in the house. Yeah, the Scenic Express ballast is good. The only complaint I have about it is it doesn't come in enough different colors. And I create my own blend to make it like the KCS ballast. If you look, let me see here. Try not to make you too dizzy. Let me see if I can get that to focus, kind of. Focus on my finger. There you go. All right, so you can see I have a blend of different types of ballast in here, different colors, and which it's mainly gray, mainly the medium gray. But I have light gray, I have buff, I've even got the red iron ore and the brown ballast in here. I've got all of the colors mixed, but the base is the medium gray. So that's that's the one thing I do like about the Woodland Scenics ballast is the different colors it comes in. But I've also added in here the number 50 gray ballast from Scenic Express. So that's in here too, in the mix. Yeah, the Arizona stone stuff is good. I never checked out the prices on it. I don't know what kind of prices they have. Sorry. I don't know what kind of prices that Arizona has. I bought for the Scenic Express stuff. I loved it. They've got like a 20-pound bag of it. So it lasts you a good while. But believe it or not, I've used a lot of it because I use that number 50 ballast, which is, like I said, equivalent to about an inch, a 1-inch size stone. I use it like in the yard and stuff like that. Thanks, Mike. But if you want, let's see, do I have the I have the picture here. Yes. So I have the refinery picture here. Let me see if I can share it. Present, share screen. Well, that's odd. There. So this is a picture of the refinery and the area that I can model. Now, the only thing I'm going to do differently is the tanks that are along here. I am going to move them a little closer so I can have a full tank instead of having to cut it in half. Um, but you can see the road that I'm trying to do, the cement area. And then also you can see the oil stains along the tracks. So that's what I'm going to try to capture as well. But see, this is all grass, which that rough area that I showed you, that's what it's going to be. I'm going to, just cover it up and make it, put some grass and junk in there. So, oh, Sparky's in the house. How you doing, Sparky? So anyway, this was the first stage, trying to get this laid down. Oh, foam and sculpta mode. Lucky you. Oh, thanks, Dave. Oh, Derek, you're hilarious. I think Derek, that almost deserves you to be put in time out. That one was so bad. Yeah, Fred, you're doing a good job on that. And it's funny how you're having to move things around. It's just so much fun when you plan stuff out and then your plan goes awry. All right, Mike, will you take it easy? Yeah. R. Yeah, it's oh, of course. No, is that what it is, Derek? That's what you're going to blame it on? Oh man, you're going to blame it on the showstopper, huh? Oh, like I said, you just you get plenty of rest and lots of water and vitamin C and zinc, and hopefully you knock that out pretty soon. Dream big, model small, and have fun. That's right. That's what you have to do. You dream big, and then you go, I can't get 12 rows of track in 2 feet. I can only get 10. I don't know about the bleach part of it, but the other thing works and works well. Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, the prednisone will help. Absolutely. And the Z pack for any secondary infections that might happen. So, yeah, I think Derek has the showstopper. Yeah, I know a few people would get it. It's still, uh, I know a few people that have had it lately, but I usually don't like to say too much about it on a YouTube video. I'll be flagged. Yeah, luckily we can still all gather together on the YouTube videos, on the live streams. I'm trying to see. This is still wet, so I don't want to touch it. It's kind of muddy now. No virus issues unless you go to questionable sites. And Freddie's going to hold up in his garage and work on the layout. Good for you, Fred. It's you're in, it's not too late. Yeah, well, Derek, you'll get better. It just doesn't feel like it right now, probably. Edwards Rail Productions. How are you? So anyway, this is what I've got done tonight. I have got this done. I've got a all the way down at this end. There's going to be a road here that crosses the track, and I am going to use a couple Walther's kits here to kind of fill in. Let me move this. To do some, give it some interest, I'm going to use the truck served fuel distributor because these tanks are good for what I need it to, if you noticed in the other picture. And there's some buildings within the complex, so this little building will work. And then also the Interstate Oil Company has some tanks in it. And another building. So this will work in the complex as well. So I'm going to use those two kits along with I'm going to buy. I've got the refinery. I've got some of the Walther's tall tanks. I'm going to get some more of those. I've got 2 of them. I'm going to get. I think I need 4 or 5. And then I've got one of the shorter tanks as well. I haven't put it together, the wide oil storage tank. So I've got the I've put the tall ones together already. So I haven't painted them yet. So I guess I don't know if that's where the pipe is supposed to go in or what. Or if it was supposed to go in on this thing. I don't know which way the pipe is, where the pipe's supposed to go. Maybe it's supposed to go onto that one. I don't know. I don't guess it matters. Will anybody come to my layout and say, "Hey, that's not where it's supposed to go"? But the Plastruct refinery kit. Huh. I haven't seen it. Yeah, maybe that'll have some tanks or something in it that I can use. The thing is, it's funny, that refinery had, I measured the tanks in Google Earth, and there were probably 7 or 8 different sizes of tanks. So yeah, that's right, Derek. If they say something, they won't be coming back. Right? Yeah, they'll say, "Oh, those aren't supposed to go there." Well, then where were you when I was putting it together? Yeah. These stairs are fun. I tell you what, I got them on there, but they didn't want to go on there, not straight anyway. But I finally got the stairs on there, and I might get some PVC pipe to get the other sizes. I don't know. I've been thinking about riding over to the actual facility and taking some photographs. I just got to get some permission because you can't. The angles I need to see, you can't see them from the road. I actually have to go back into the refinery area. So we'll see. Did you have the fill lines on the tanks? No. Some of them, so some of the tanks are white and some of are kind of an off white and some of them are silver. So there's two different colors. And then some of them are an ivory color even. So I've got about three different colors I've got to paint the tanks. Some of the smaller tanks, like from that truck serve fuel distributor, will be about that color. And I don't know if you can tell, but that's kind of an off-white. It's yellowish looking, kind of ivory. So the and then you've got some that are white and then others that are silver. So there's just, yeah. I imagine that the tanks were added at different times throughout the years, and they just whatever color they were. Yeah, most of them you see now are off white, right? Things in real life aren't straight. That's true. They're not. Did I have to fill in the lines on the tanks? No. There's these tanks. I think they're one piece. Yeah, the tanks are one piece. So luckily, did I have to glue on the top? Hold on. Good question. Let me see the wide one. Get all the berm pieces out, which I'm not going to need because none of the tanks that I'm modeling have the berm around them. So all right, there we go. All right, so no, the tanks are all one piece. It's just the stairs you have to worry about putting on. All the berm pieces I've got to pull out. So here's the tank. It's just all one piece. So there's no filling. Luckily, there's no filling. The only thing you have to do, which is odd, the vent that's on the top, they don't put the hole there. You have to actually drill it with a drill. With a drill bit. Go figure that. So. Yeah, most of them are pink is a nice color. I don't think so. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Anything that starts off white in the real world ain't going to stay that way. So. But these little berms, the place I'm modeling, these tanks don't have any berms around them, so don't have to worry about that. But a lot of those tanks have been there since the 50s. So. See you, Steven. Take it easy. Yeah, I know, Derek. And it's the same too. If you like put together the grain silos, um, when I put together the grain silos, those things fit. Those are a miserable fit. There's a lot of putty in those things, but I got them filled and sanded. So, and Jerry, take it easy. We'll see you. Have a good evening. Yeah, those grain silos that Walters has, those things were a nightmare. They just weren't designed well at all, and there's a lot of warp. It's just like all their kits. There's just the molds are so old that everything's warped and a lot of flash, and it's just you make do because they're not gonna create new molds, at least not anytime soon. Huh, that's good. The stairs molded on. Yeah, the if you need a Walther's kit, the best thing to do is go online and find the oldest issue of that kit that you can find, because that will give you a better kit, believe it or not. I've got a friend that has a bunch of those oil loading racks that I were doing, and his kits are all about 15 years old, and they came in the plastic bag, not in the box like they do now. And you look at them, and it's just night and day difference from the ones that they're producing now. It's because the molds were fresher then and things like that. So yeah, Dave, you won't be uh, sorry about that, because if you've got the older kits when they first came out, or the first few years that they came out, they're going to be much much better quality than the ones they're producing now, because the molds weren't worn out in the beginning. Well, all I do now is wait for this to dry, fellas. So no, Derek, I'm not. I'm painting the stairs the same color. I it used to be, especially, I modeled in the 70s, and it was just kind of in the 70s, really, when they started painting stairs yellow or different color or something like that. It was just so most of these industrial places, when they painted something, they sprayed the whole thing the entire color, one color, and that was it. So, yep, OSHA, that's right. Wow, John. That's good. Like I said, John, if you've got the older kits, you're much better off. You are much better off. Yeah, that is a problem. If you've got older kits, if they're not stored properly, they will warp. And warping's not hard to fix. Um, what you do is you heat some water on the stove, a big pot of water to about 180 degrees. And now if you've got two parts that go together, it's good to rubber band the parts together and then dip them into the hot water for about 20 seconds and bend them the way they need to be bent. Or if it's just one part, if it's warped, just bend it back against the warp and bend it straight. So that's the best way to take care of warped parts. About 180-degree water for about 20 seconds. And if you see, it depends on the thickness of the plastic, so you might have to go 30 seconds. So you can kind of experiment as you're doing it. But that's the best way to take care of warps in kits. And you're going to be much happier if you take care of the warp before you try to put it together. Believe me. Yeah, either heat or they could have been packed wrong. If they were packed and shoved in the box, they can be bent. That's the chance you take with any plastic kit, whether it's new or old. But you've got less of a chance the older or the closer the kit was to being injection molded to in a newer mold, the better chance of it being a better mold. So. That's right, Fred. We're watching Grout Dry. Where's Steve 87 when you need him? He likes watching that kind of stuff. But I think that's really all I can do for the evening, unfortunately, or fortunately. So I'm gonna go in and I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream because y'all would just be bored at this point. So I don't want to. I don't want you to get tired of me. So. Anyway, you guys have a great night. I appreciate y'all popping in on just kind of a, live stream. Yeah, Fred, I've been doing that a long time because I grew up building model airplanes too, and that's how you fix warps with those model airplane kits. So. Good, Gus. Wisconsin to Katy and back. Wow. Yeah, Randall, take it easy. I'm going to go in and say hi to my wife, and we'll probably watch Perry Mason because that's what we do at 10:30. So you guys take it easy, and thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And Derek, you take care of yourself. Get better. And the rest of y'all, don't get sick. If I was going to pay different, would you have done that first before? Probably. It depends, Derek. Most likely I would have. But you have to be careful because you don't want to get paint on this what you have to glue to the, like if I'm gluing the steps to the tank, you can't get paint on the part that you're gluing to the tank. So you have to be careful of that because if you get paint on it, the glue won't stick. So. So there's sometimes where if things are all one color, you can glue them together first and then paint them. But if you have to paint something separate, just make sure you don't get paint on the area you have to glue to. So you guys take it easy and you have a great evening. We'll see you later.